Hello, Jets fans. What's up? It's your friend Dom C here at GreenBean Jets fan for another installment of the weekly video series that we're calling Project Prospect. Project Prospect's just a little deep dive that I'm doing into some of these NFL draft eligible players who are going to hear their name called in April and who I think will be really good fit for our New York Jets. Now, the first two installments, I touched on the wide receiver position, and we talked about two mid-round guys who I think are really, really good players and would look great in Gotham Green in both Trey Palmer and Michael Wilson. But I put it off long enough. It's time to address that pink elephant in the room and finally talk about the offensive line. We all know what it was last year. Dumpster fire is the best way I can explain it. Injuries decimated the offensive line to an extent that I don't think any of us could have imagined or even dreamt about. But that was last year, and this is this year. And we have picks 13, 43, and 74. Very high capital, very good picks that Joe Douglas in the front office has to use to finally, once and for all, bring some talent and fortify that front five, then hopefully elevate our offense. Now's the year to do it, Joe. Jets fans have been screaming far and wide that we need to fix this line. So if any year it's going to happen, this one's not a bad one. There's some good depth in the first day or two of the draft all along the offensive line. But today we're going to specifically talk about the tackles. We all know the big three names that are being bantered about in Peter Skoronski, Broderick Jones, or Paris Johnson. One of them might be your flavor. All of them might be your flavor. I like all of them. But I think there's a fourth guy that everyone seems to be sleeping on or not talking enough about. I think he's a guy that should be, held in the same regard as the other three previously mentioned, and that's Anton Harrison. Anton Harrison's 6'5". He's 316 pounds. He's just 21 years old and played at the University of Oklahoma. While at Oklahoma, he started 34 out of a possible 38 games, one at right tackle and 33 at left tackle. He logged over 1,800 snaps in college, only allowing 25 total QB pressures and 4 sacks throughout his career. Phenomenal production. He has a very long and athletic build, and he has that natural God-given power in both his upper half and his lower half. In fact, at 21 years old, he's still kind of maturing physically a little bit. So he's got the frame that could probably carry another 10 or 15 pounds without question. So let's talk about Harrison in the run game. The one thing that stuck out to me in watching his film is his footwork. Both quick and technical with his steps, always staying in balance and in control. He's not a lunger when when he's blocking. He deals with change direction very well. And for a big man at 6'5", 316, he's a very fluid mover. He's got enough agility to, get vertical and block in the second level or out on the perimeter, leading out on screens and sweeps and toss sweeps and so on and so forth. Harrison understands leverage very well, and he uses that excellent footwork and hand placement to, corner off or wall off the defenders when need be. He plays with really good functional strength at the point of attack, using that wide, solid base to distribute power from the ground straight up into the opponent. That's all fine and dandy, but that's not even scratching the surface of what Harrison does best. Harrison's probably the best and most NFL-ready prospect in terms of his pass protection. What he can do as a pass blocker is really special, especially for a true junior who just turned 21 years old. I already discussed the good footwork and hand placement that he has. These both shine when he's in pass protection. Harrison's quick to his spot with his kick and slide steps versus the outside rush, and he's a very good, powerful hand fighter. Never letting the defender get up onto his chest and into his pads against the power rush. Harrison understands pass protection very, very well and is rarely fooled by the games and the stunts played up in front by the defensive linemen. That's proven by him only allowing 4 sacks through his collegiate career. I think he can step right in at left tackle and protect the quarterback's blind side. People talk about those first 3 names in Skoronski, Jones, and Johnson all the time as who's going to fall to the Jets at 13. Is this guy going to fall? Is this guy going to fall? Or any of them going to fall? You know what? I don't think it's the craziest thing to think that Anton Harrison could be the pick at 13. If his name was one of the first tackles called off the board, it wouldn't surprise me one bit. You know, I think other people are going to see the talent and the upside and the youth and the super high ceiling that Anton Harrison offers. You know, I look at him and I think DeBrickashaw Ferguson in his early years. You know, I think Charles Cross from last year. Both very similar skill sets to what Anton Harrison brings. You know, is there room for improvement? Of course, there's room for improvement. You know, Harrison, only played. I mean, he played in only an RPO, a very heavy RPO based offense. So he's got limited exposure against true drop back pass sets and rushers coming at him in a true drop back pass formation. Although his pass protection is so good, if there is any adjustment, I don't think the adjustment period will be too long. He does show on tape that he has some trouble with quick slanting defenders, especially the ones that come across his face. There's times that he plays a little too high at 6'5". He's a tall guy. He needs to lower that pad level to really not give up leverage. And he needs to also do a better job sticking and finishing his blocks. Harrison's a big boy, and he needs to enforce his will more readily and more often. Play with a little bit of a meaner streak sometimes. You don't see that all the time in his game. He's got it in him. Now he just needs a coach to really get it out of him 100%. So like I said, I think Harrison's a first-round talent. I would love his fit on the left side next to Laken Tomlinson for our New York Jets. Maybe battle it out for Mekhi Becton on the right side if Mekhi comes back healthy and Dwayne Brown decides to give it another go. Nonetheless, he's a player that could step in and play, and he could be that pipeline piece for the future that we need to build our offensive line. Listen, we're only as good as our line and our quarterback, but that's for another video. So, Anton Harrison, don't forget his name come April. You won't be sorry. Until the next video, go Jets.